Okay, I'm sorry about not recording in a long time. I don't know what I'm doing, just taking a little break, guys. But today we'll be focusing on the top 5 best Pokemon to be using in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Specifically competitive because I haven't finished the game because I've been playing Smash Bros. And Fortnite all day. But anyway, this is going to be a really interesting video, let alone some of you guys will disagree with me. But anyway, guys, I'll tell you some of the Pokemon so I'm gonna tell you guys something. For number 2, after number 2, I will do an honorable mention to tell you the Pokemon that quite didn't make the list, but was close to. But anyway, guys, we have no time to start. We got to get this video on the show. So let's start the intro.
It's me, Mario, in the gang. You probably know my name, and so we start.
Alright, to coming out at the number 5 spot, we got 2 Pokemon. Well, technically, one Pokemon, Aerodactyl. As you guys know, Stealth is one of the most dangerous hazards in the game, let alone the only hazard aside from Leech Seed. But Jesus Christ, there's no Rapid Spin nor Defog. That means Stealth will stay. That means Pokemon like Charizard, Venomoth, and especially Moltres, who, despite having roots, will lose 50% of their HP upon switching in. So you might as well start them off as early game sweepers. But anyway, Aerodactyl has numbers of things. It got a blazing speed, that means it can set up Stealth Dogs, got Taunt to prevent other setup mobs, so it can try to check the dangerous Alakazam and stop Melmetal from even paralyzing it. And access to amazing coverage moves and Earthquake is great. And access to Rock Slide means it's got a pretty nice stat move, despite its flying typing being a pretty mediocre thing because its only best stat move in, let's be honest, the entire games, not just Let Go, but the entire Gen 7 meta is Wing Attack, which is weak, super weak. But you honestly don't have a choice because you might want to fight Venusaur, which is only a check, not a counter, because despite Aerodactyl hitting it hard, it doesn't have many good moves to hit it. Venusaur. It has great matchups stopping Charizard, both its megas. Stop checking Gyarados with Rock Slide, and of course, having Crunch to check dangerous Alakazam set. But it needs to use Crunch first before Alakazam can just sweep the entire game. And you will hear me say Alakazam. It does have problem matchups, like it struggles against bulky water types like Slowbro, who doesn't even care about Crunch. It can just take and just hit it hard with a water type move. And other things like Mega Blastoise, both its original form and others can just take it blotted. And bulky grass types can check Aerodactyl like Mega Venusaur and Alolan Exeggutor. And electric types like Zapdos and the uncommon Jolteon, I guess, can easily sponge it. But despite that, Aerodactyl is a great Pokemon. Its access to Stealth Dogs and Rock Slide and Earthquake mean that it can just pretty much turret the entire metagame. Sure, it's struggling against bulky water types, but it doesn't matter. Its great speed, access to Stealth Dogs, and its unique Rock Flying type and Rock Slide meant that it can just pretty much hurt the entire metagame. It does have its problem, but I believe Aerodactyl is one of the best Stealth Dog setters in the game. But we're just getting started on the list, guys. Alright, coming at the number 4 spot, we got Starmie. Now this was a really chore place to put on because I either have a choice of Starmie or Mega Charizard X. Now the reason I chose Starmie is because of Mega Charizard X is weak to Stealth Dogs, and even though it got Roost to heal itself up, it's still struggling with Rhydon, a popular Stealth Dog setter along with Aerodactyl. Those two are really what kept Charizard from making the list. So let's start off with Starmie. Starmie is a fast water type with a great speed stat of 115 and a passable special attack of 100. It has a unique water and psychic typing. You may say, why couldn't you put Slowbro on this list? It does have Calm Mind. Well, the problem is too slow to get it off and susceptible to being paralyzed or even sleep by Venusaur. Now anyway, despite facing very real, and I mean real competition from Alakazam, who is one of the most dangerous Pokemon in the tier, you're going to keep hearing me say that, it does have its stuff over Alakazam. For example, it has access to Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, aka Bolt Beam, and has access to Skull and Psychic, which makes it tough. And despite both of them having access to Recover, Starmie makes it much more better because it can actually tank more hits than Alakazam. Now, it does have its negatives, like struggling against. It does have too many weaknesses. For example, electric type like Zapdos completely stop it, but has to worry about Ice Beam. Venusaur is a check because it can put it to sleep and hit hard with Mega Drain. And other bulky water types that can pretty much take a Thunderbolt, like Blastoise, can pretty much just fake it out first and then just switch out so it won't be in trouble. And if that wasn't even enough, dark types like Alolan Muck doesn't even need to worry about it because it already has a high special defense. So it doesn't even need to worry about Starmie at all. So it can pretty much just hit hard with a crunch and bam, that Starmie's dead. But despite these numerous setbacks, Starmie is still a great Pokemon. Its great speed, its passable special attack, which means you can just pretty much put Lock EVs on it, and access to recover meant that it can pretty much do other things that other bulky water types can't. So yeah, Starmie, despite facing very real competition from Alakazam, pretty much shows why you should use Starmie over Alakazam, despite Alakazam technically being a tiny bit better. Coming up the number 3 spot is of course Alolan Muck. Now Alolan Muck's dark typing and poison/dark typing is really a good typing, man. It's only weak to ground, which unfortunately means Earthquake will hit it hard pretty big. But its resistances to pretty decent types like grass and numerous other types I can say, but its biggest great thing is its immunity to Psychic, which checks super dangerous Pokemon like Alakazam, Starmie, Slowbro, and of course Crunch hits all those Psychic types and Ghost types like Gengar. Unfortunately, it does have a big losing match to Rhydon, who despite having Mega Drain, it probably won't even, despite having Mega Drain, and it can't even switch into Rhydon because Earthquake can pretty much one-hit KO it without a second thought. It does struggle against Aerodactyl without Ice Punch, and it does check great things like I said, the second typings, Alolan Exeggutor, Venusaur, and sometimes Blastoise if it can get a poison off from Poison Jab, which can make Blastoise sometimes use Rest if it has it. And of course, the biggest thing about it, and Ice Punch does help off against Dragonite, I forgot to say that. But its biggest downfall, of course, like I said, is that Earthquake weakness and its slow speed. That means things that carry Earthquake can hit it hard, like Mega Charizard X, Rhydon, like I said, Aerodactyl, Venusaur sometimes, and of course, the uncommon Golem. But anyway, guys, Alolan Muck's biggest thing is that dark typing is the reason why it makes the number 3 list, because it can threaten so many dangerous threats. It's just that great how it got access to dark typing and Crunch, since most Alolan forms doesn't even have their stab moves. For example, Alolan Dugtrio doesn't even have a steel type stab move, and Alolan Sandslash best steel type stab move is Iron Tail, which accuracy sucks. Alolan Marowak doesn't have no physical ghost type moves, and Alolan Ninetale just has a mediocre special attack. But anyway, Alolan Muck has the luckiest out of any of Alolan form, along with Alolan Exeggutor, and that's why to me Alolan Muck is the best Alolan form in the games, and that's why it makes the number 3 list. Coming up at the number 2 spot is Melmetal. Melmetal's great defense stat is really great. It's great Pokemon that can pretty much take most of the hits in the game that is in special attack, super effective move, and it's the best steel type in the game. All the other steel types have their issues. Alolan Dugtrio doesn't even have a steel type stab move to even take advantage of. Alolan Sandslash stat line is just pretty too low to make it work, and of course it doesn't have a great steel type stab move. It only has Iron Tail, which just has a terrible accuracy, and Magneton is just way too slow just to pull it off its great moves to make great more of Thunderbolt and Flash Cannon. And of course it doesn't even have any other coverage moves after that, so it pretty much hard counter by a pretty decent amount of the game. So yeah, Melmetal is the best because it has a pretty wide move pool, access to Thunder Tail speed, pretty much a decent amount of the tier. And of course, its double Iron Badge pretty much hits everything hard, and that includes Rhydon, which you can 2-hit KO it with, and Aerodactyl, who can't even survive one. and it can pretty much hit most dangerous checks, things like Venomoth, Venusaur, Mega Alakazam in general, and things that can only resist it like Slowbro can really take it out with a. It can only really do much with Burn. That's what Slowbro, Starmie can really do. Ice Punch, I mean, that can even threaten Rhydon, but I guess it can. And it can even use Ice Punch to even take out, of course, Dragonite and Alolan Exeggutor. But I don't think it got Ice Punch. But anyway, it's great double Iron Bash, man. It can hit everything on fire types like Charizard, which is the only real good fire type in OU, and the oncoming Rapidash and Arcanine can pretty much stop it in its tracks. And there ain't many good fighting types, so it doesn't really have much to worry about. And of course, Earthquakes like I said, the Charizard, the uncommon Venusaur with Earthquake, and of course, its biggest one, Rhydon with Earthquake. We can pretty much just dent it big time, but won't want to kill it because it can just take it and will outspeed it because Melmetal's speed is under somewhere around 30. But despite these drawbacks, Melmetal is one of the most dangerous Pokemon in the tier. Its great bulk is pretty much resistant to half the types in the game, and pretty much doesn't need to worry about much aside from burns and paralyzation. And even then, it doesn't care about outspeeding things because it got Thunder Wave anyway. Melmetal is one of the most dangerous Pokemon in the tier. So, but before we go to number 1, because you probably already know what number 1 is, let's go over some honorable mentions about right now. And for the honorable mentions, there were like a lot of them to talk about, but we'll just talk about just a few. Nidoking, I'm sorry I didn't been talking about it. Is poison / ground typing meant that it can threaten some of the dangerous things like Rhydon, Charizard, Venusaur, and a host of other things because of its big move pool. But unfortunately, that typing isn't the greatest thing defensively because it's weak against ice, water, and ground, some of the most common types in the game. But yeah, it's a versatile thing, so yeah. Venusaur, Mega Venusaur was close to making the list, but fell short because it's just a bit too slow. It has Sleep Power and Leech Seed, which combine that with Mega Drain and Sludge Bomb / Earthquake means that it can pretty much hurt the entire metagame. It does have its faults, for example, getting hard countered by Fire and Ice, Psychic, and of course, Flying. But there ain't many good flying types in the game. But Fire, Psychic, and Ice is pretty common in the game. With no thick facts since the abilities were removed, it's pretty hard, it can't tank much. But anyway, it's still a great thing and one of the best sleepers in the game. Mega Charizard X is a dragon typing, man. There are only 3 dragon types in OU that is really good. Alolan Exeggutor, Dragonite, and of course, Charizard. Now I could talk about Dragonite, but I couldn't have. But like I said, let's talk about Dragonite for a tiny bit. It's weak to Stealth but it has Outrage to hit hard, and it doesn't have a great flying type stat move to take advantage of. It's versatile enough, but its slow speed meant that's really hard, and Stealth Rock will make it tough to use. But it's still a great Pokemon. And we're not going to talk about Alolan Exeggutor, but let's talk about Mega Charizard X. Its Fire and Dragon type is a great typing. Sure, it's still weak to Stealth Rocks and will lose 50% upon switching it if it's a regular Charizard, or 25% upon switching it if it's a Mega Charizard X. It's great access to Flare Blitz and Outrage meant that it can be a physical attacker or a special attacker with Fire Blast and Dragon Pulse. So it's up to you, but I recommend being more of a physical attacker. And last but not least, Snorlax. Its high special attack makes it better than Chansey because it can take more hits. Despite being slower than Chansey, it can take more special hits, has a great 110 attack stat, basically means that it can pretty much just take a hit. And it's really great in general. It doesn't have a fighting type weakness, but it doesn't like taking much from Earthquake, and of course Toxic variant down without no rest variants. But overall, these are the Pokemon that made the honorable mention, guys, so let's get to number 1. And the number, oh come on, what's the point of saying it, guys? I kept talking about it throughout the video, and that Pokemon is Alakazam, and especially Mega Alakazam. Let's talk about regular Alakazam first. Acts as the Calm Mind, Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Dazzling Gleam. Can pretty much hurt the entire metagame, but however, its low defense means it pretty much can't survive many hits. Especially a Flare Blitz from Mega Charizard X, or even Outrage. And of course, any physical hit or priority hit, or of course Alolan Muck pretty much just threatening it in general. But Mega Alakazam, it's another story, man. Calm Mind, 2-hit kill everything, 1-hit or 2-hit kill everything in the game that isn't Alolan Muck. This thing is one of the most dangerous Pokemon in the game. Seriously, I was playing Pokemon Shield, I kept getting swept by this thing so much that I literally had to start running Alolan Muck, and it had been doing job to stop this thing from pretty much sweeping my entire team. Coverage moves, come on, you need Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, and of course, Calm Mind or Recover. And Psychic, like, those are all that. Psychic, Shadow Ball, 2-hit tail everything in the game that isn't Alolan Muck, who doesn't even need to care about it. Alolan Muck is the truest counter to it, along with Melmetal, who can pretty much hit hard with double Iron Bash. But Alolan Muck is, but even then, it still has to worry about some sets of Alakazam for Melmetal, and Alolan Muck doesn't even need to worry about it because Crunch will always want to KO it, even if it's a burn, but it burn tweets KO it. But it's just that threatening. Like, it sweeps everything. Like, I can just talk about it long enough. But what's the point of talking about it if you guys already know what I'm saying? Mega Alakazam, and especially Mega Alakazam, is one of the most threatening Pokemon in the game. Gengar, yeah, that thing, it can only threaten it if it switch ends. Like, I can talk about it. Special like Snorlax can take it out, but then a +1 Calm Mind for Mega Alakazam is going to 2-hit KO it. Only Alolan Muck can do it. Like I said, Melmetal can get 2-hit KO by a Shadow Ball. And of course, Alolan Muck doesn't worry about it because he can get, despite getting 3-hit KO by Dazzling Gleam, I think. But I don't know. But besides that, Alolan Muck, this thing is one of the most broken Pokemon in the game. And you guys might wonder why I didn't talk about Mewtwo. Like, I just banned Mewtwo from this list. Like, it would have been #1 because nothing would counter it. Aside from Alolan Muck, I guess, checking it and Mega Alakazam, but that's besides the point. And to me, Mega Alakazam and Alakazam are one of the most best and probably one of the most broken Pokemon. And Pokemon, let's go Pikachu and let's go Eevee. And that concludes the video, guys. I hope you guys do enjoy it. Happy New Year. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded anything in a month. If you guys do enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Peace out.